Happy Monday morning, President's Day, everybody. We've got a full weekend of college basketball action to recap. But first, I want to start with some All-Star Weekend action, starting with the dunk contest. McClung winning the dunk contest. 50 points, 50 points, 50 points. 50 points is the highest score you can get. He got 50 on all three of his dunks. He looked incredible, looked excellent, and a lot of people are saying that he has saved the dunk contest, and I completely agree with them. He is without a doubt the greatest dunk contest participant we have seen in a long time. And so it is great to see Mac McClung do that. He said this is probably his last year doing it, but players like John Morant, Giannis Antetokounmpo have tweeted out their interest in the dunk contest, and so I would love to see Mac compete against these guys who are obviously great in-game dunkers, but would they be great dunk contest dunkers? And so would be a lot of entertainment around that event for next year. Excited to see it. Tyler Hero winning the three-point contest. Team Cavs winning the skills challenge. And then last night we had the new format for the All-Star game, won by Team Shaq, Steph Curry, All-Star Game MVP. I like the new format personally. I think it was fun. I get the points that Draymond Green was making last night with the fact that these players won't ever be able to catch scoring records or won't ever be able to score a lot of points or do this or do that or get real playing time because you've got 8 players on a team. And if you're playing a game to 40 points, you've got probably at least 3 players that are not going to play a lot at all. They might play worth 12 or 14 points of game action, which could only be 2 to 3 minutes, and these are NBA All-Stars, so I'm a fan of going back to the East versus West format. I saw Giannis propose an idea of going to Team USA versus Team World, which I think would also be really fun, and so there's a lot of fun to be had with the All-Star game, and I'm excited to see what the NBA does. They're trying to save this event. They're trying to do something great with it, so I'm excited to see what they do there. And going into some college basketball now, looking back to Saturday, we had number 1 versus number 2, Auburn versus Alabama, the Iron Bowl of basketball, and this game lived up to the hype. Auburn winning 94-85. Auburn led for most of this game. Alabama came and made it a close game late, tying the game with just under 8 minutes to go. Auburn never gave up the lead, and they were able to win by 9. Janai Broome had 19 points to lead all scorers in this one. Mark Sears pouring in 18 points for the Tide. Another rivalry game that took place on Saturday, Mississippi State in Oxford at Ole Miss, the Basque Egg Bowl. The Bulldogs taking down the Rebels 81-71. A great bounce-back performance for Mississippi State. They were starting to trend in the wrong direction, really kind of headed back towards the bubble. But this is a great get-right win, a big-time Quad 1A win for them over Ole Miss 81-71. Houston at Arizona. Arizona led for most of this one, but the Wildcats went cold late. Houston got it going late, winning by 4, 62-58. Houston putting themselves in a great spot here atop the Big 12 for a number 1 seed. Over in the Big 10, Wisconsin on the road at Purdue, winning by 10 points, 94-84. John Taji putting up 32 points. Trey Kaufman-Renn scoring 30 for the Boilermakers. Not enough there. Purdue was a 6.5-point favorite at home. Wisconsin, the underdog, road underdog, wins by 10 in Mackey Arena. Great win for the Badgers there as they continue to climb up the top 25. Other big results from Saturday. Texas, the Longhorns, playing host to Kentucky. Kentucky did not have a point guard in this one. All 3 point guards on their roster were out with injury. Texas ended up being a 4.5-point favorite in this one over the Kentucky Wildcats, winning by 4 points, 82-78. A couple of top 10 SEC teams taking care of business at home. Florida over South Carolina, 88-67. Tennessee over Vanderbilt, 81-76. That one was fun late, as well as this one, Arkansas losing to Texas A&M, number 8 Texas A&M, 69-61. Out west, late Saturday night, Utah playing host to Kansas. The Utes winning 74-67 over the Kansas Jayhawks. This is a big-time win for Utah. Their bubble was shrinking, it was getting smaller, and now they stay alive for an at-large bid here. They needed to get this win over Kansas, and they do so. Kansas, the Jayhawks, they were the number 1 team in the country earlier this season. They might fall out of the top 25 now after this loss. Very interesting team to watch come March, though, because we know how talented they are. We know how great of a coach Bill Self is. So don't count the Jayhawks out yet just because they're losing games now. March is what matters. We'll see how they do then. Over back into the Big 12, Texas Tech taking care of business by 38 on the road at Oklahoma State, 93-55. And Iowa State playing host to Cincinnati, winning 81-70. Iowa State, they have not looked nearly as strong as they looked earlier in the season, only winning by 11 here over a decent Cincinnati team, but their results recently in the past 5 or 6 games have not been up to par. We'll have to see how the Cyclones do moving forward. Back to some ACC action. Duke hanging 106 over Stanford, winning the game 106-70, and Clemson at Florida State winning 72-46. Now to some games on Sunday. Wichita State pulling a massive upset over the Memphis Tigers on their home floor, 84-79 in overtime. Great showing from the Shockers there. And Memphis, they've won a lot of close games against inferior conference opponents. In my eyes, it was only a matter of time before this team lost one. And yes, they were a 7.5-point road favorite, but it's still tough winning on the road no matter where you go. If they were going to lose one of these games, at least they lost one on the road. At least they lost it in overtime. So the metrics are not really going to punish them a ton for this one. But still, great win for the Shockers now to build some confidence heading into the AAC tournament. A top 25 matchup on Sunday is St. John's. Rick Pitino's St. John's team coming off a loss to Villanova, taking care of business over number 24 Creighton, 79-73 in Madison Square Garden. Michigan, Ohio State, a great rivalry game here. Michigan on the road at Ohio State, winning 86-83. The Wolverines coming back late, winning that one in great fashion. Michigan looks like the team to watch in the Big Ten. One of the teams to watch, I should say, because this Maryland team as well looks terrific, as well as Michigan State. But Maryland right here, 101-75 over Iowa. Derek Queen, that's a name you're going to hear that name a lot in March. Derek Queen. You're going to want to learn that name right now because he is a terrific basketball player, a great freshman, and one that can carry this Maryland team all the way, dare I say, to the Final Four. We'll see how the bracket lines up, but he's got that kind of talent. This Maryland team is very poised to make a deep run in the March Madness tournament. I'm excited to see what happens there. And into some action tonight, as we are now less than 4 weeks away from receiving our March Madness bracket. That's right, we are 27 days away from Selection Sunday. We will get that March Madness bracket. It's going to be a ton of fun to watch. We've got a doubleheader on ESPN tonight. Duke on the road at the Virginia Cavaliers. Virginia, gut check time for them to see if they will stick with their head coach. The Blue Devils favored by 14.5 points. 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. And then late night tonight, Baylor, a 1.5-point favorite over the Arizona Wildcats. This one being played in Waco, 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Over on ESPN2, Kansas State at Utah. Kansas State losing to BYU on Saturday, kind of crushed all their at-large momentum. Still could pick up a big-time win over Utah here to kind of right the ship. If they don't lose a game the rest of the way, I like their chances for an at-large bid. They need to get this one in Salt Lake City for certain. And that will wrap up your Monday episode of Hoops Talk with Dave. We've got 2 top 25 matchups coming for you on Tuesday. No NBA action taking place until Wednesday. Only one game on Wednesday as well. The All-Star break. These players getting some much-earned rest for them here. College basketball, however, not stopping anytime soon. Going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning to wrap up Monday night's action. I'm your host, Dave Smith, here on Hoops Talk with Dave.